Let's try something. We're not just going to look at history today, we are going to step right into it. I want you to imagine a world that is just breathtakingly beautiful, but at the same time unspeakably cruel. A world where your entire life hangs by a single silk thread. This is your life as an imperial concubine in Ming Dynasty China.
Right. First things first, forget everything you think you know. 1 minute, you're 12 years old, playing outside your village. The next, snap. Just like that, you're no longer a person. You're property. The last thing you hear from your old life is your mother crying as a carriage carts you off to a future you never asked for. A future inside the Emperor's forbidden city.
So, how does a nightmare like this even begin? It begins with a single, brutal transaction. You're sold. And with that, your identity, your family, your name, it's all just erased.
The year is 1570. A man dressed in fine silk robes is looking you over. But his eyes, they're like a butcher's. He's checking your teeth, your skin. He doesn't see a child. He sees an investment. And for your family, well, the sack of silver he tosses to your father is a fortune. It's a horrible trade, but it's one born out of sheer poverty. And with that, you now belong to the Emperor, one of thousands of girls headed for the palace.
When you get to the palace gates, that's your first test. You're stripped naked and inspected, judged like an animal at auction. They're looking for absolute perfection. But the most horrifying part, they check your feet to see if they're small enough for binding. And let me be clear, this isn't just some tradition, it is torture. They will literally break the bones in your arches and toes, then fold them under your feet to create this tiny, so-called beautiful lotus shape. You'll scream for weeks, but here, beauty is pain. And your pain, well, that now belongs to the Emperor too.
So, let's say you pass that inspection. You get in, you enter the harem, and it is a world that shimmers with gold and jade. It's stunning, but don't let any of that fool you. This isn't a palace, it's a prison draped in silk, and everyone inside is either a predator or their prey. You can almost feel it, can't you? The air is thick with the smell of jasmine and fear. The older concubines, their faces are these perfect, polite masks, but they watch you with eyes like knives. They are not your friends. They are not your sisters. They are your competition in a game where the loser doesn't just get to go home. They vanish.
You learn the rules here, and you learn them fast. Your first lesson comes almost immediately. You're serving tea to a senior consort, and you pour it just a little too slowly. Bam! She slaps you hard. Your cheek is stinging, but you learn. You don't cry. You never ever show weakness. You just obey, and you survive.
Inside this gilded cage, every single thing you do, every word you say, it's all aimed at one goal: getting the Emperor to notice you. His favor is the only way to get power. And it's not just about luxury, it's a political necessity. His favor doesn't just keep you alive, it can lift your entire family out of poverty. And that single fact turns every single woman in this palace into your potential enemy.
And then the night comes. You're taken to his chambers. His voice is soft, yeah, but it's like a blade wrapped in velvet. The command is crystal clear. The power imbalance is total. From this moment on, your life is measured by your ability to please a man whose smallest whim is law. Failure is simply not an option.
But here's the thing, you can't stay prey forever, not if you want to live. So as the years pass, you change. You're not just that scared little girl anymore. You're learning the rules. You're learning how to play the game.
And just look at how fast this all happens. It's a violent, rapid climb with absolutely no room for error. At 12, you were sold. By 13, you'd already felt your first punishment. At 16, you do the impossible. You have a son. By 18, you've clawed your way up to the rank of consort. But by 25, your story is over.
At 16, the unthinkable happens. You're pregnant. And it's a boy. Now, in the Forbidden City, a male heir isn't just good news. It's the jackpot. It's your ticket to status, to real security. But it also paints a giant target on your back and on the head of your unborn child.
Your rivals see you as a threat immediately. One of them, a consort who loves her jade hairpin, starts a rumor that you tried to poison her. Next thing you know, you're dragged before the Emperor's mother, a whip ready to strike. You're only saved because a loyal servant speaks up for you. And in that moment you realize, okay, their weapons are rumors and poison and lies. My weapons have to be obedience, charm, and silence. So you give birth to your son, and you're named a consort. You've won. It's a huge victory. But that jade hairpin consort, she is not done with you. She tries to frame you for treason, a crime that would get both you and your son killed. But this time, you don't just defend yourself, you attack. You use what you've learned to expose her whole plot, and she's the one who gets dragged away screaming. You've learned you have to be ruthless.
So now you're a consort, and you have a son. You've got status, you've got influence, but in the Forbidden City, all that means is you're a much bigger target. And to make everything worse, the whole court is spiraling into chaos. There's a plague, and the emperor himself is sick.
This is when your most dangerous rival makes her move. A consort, one with pearl earrings, accuses you of the one crime nobody ever survives: witchcraft. She claims you used black magic to curse the emperor. It's a total lie, of course, but in a court that's drowning in paranoia, a lie is just as good as the truth.
You're dragged out into a courtyard. An executioner's blade is glinting in the moonlight. The emperor's mother stands over you. Her voice is like ice, and she gives you the ultimatum: confess, or your son dies. What do you do? The whole court is watching you. It's a choice between two different kinds of death.
You say nothing. You refuse to confess to a lie that will kill you anyway. You just stare back at her. Your defiance is the only weapon you have left, as that blade hovers over your neck, and for a single heartbeat, the entire world just stops.
At the very last second, a loyal maid bursts in with proof that the pearl earring consort framed you. Your life is spared, but you learn a terrible lesson. The relief is short-lived, because you realize that as long as your son is in this palace, he can be used against you. He will never, ever be safe. So you make the hardest choice of all. You smuggle him out, sending him away forever, just to save his life.
You survived the ultimate test. You've lost your son, but you've won his life. So, what is left? What is the legacy of a life that was spent just fighting to stay alive? By the time you're 25, the fight has absolutely destroyed your body. The palace plague has scarred your lungs. Your bound feet are constantly infected. All those years of kneeling have left you in chronic pain. And a younger, prettier girl has the emperor's attention now. You're forgotten.
But your legacy, it isn't about your fading beauty. It's the fact that your son is out there, somewhere, alive. He's carrying on your bloodline. And it's in the younger girls that you now quietly teach, passing on your hard-won knowledge of how to navigate this viper's nest. You're giving them a chance you never had.
You were never just a victim. You were a player, a strategist, a survivor. You were this tiny spark in the giant flame of a dynasty, a shadow that danced with death, and for a while actually won. You fought back with silence and cunning and just sheer will right up until the very end.
It leaves you with a really powerful question, doesn't it? When survival means you have to sacrifice everything you love, and victory is just living one more day than your rivals, what does winning even look like?